Hello, and welcome to today's show, Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, international leadership expert and trusted advisor. Welcome to Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. I am so delighted that you joined me today. I have a very special guest on our show. Her name is Ebere Akadiri. Ebere is an entrepreneur, leadership strategist, and a thought leader in leadership development, diversity, and inclusion. She is also the founder of two businesses, Rise and Lead, and her second business is called Ataro Foods. Now, many people describe Ebere as an inspiring role model and a pace setter. Well, that's because she is passionate about helping women in business to elevate their leadership, to lead successful businesses, and to partner with industry leaders in order to increase the number of women who are represented in leadership positions. One of the many ways that Ebere helps women in business is through her company called Rise and Lead. Rise and Lead convenes and hosts inspiring leadership conferences and roundtables. She brings together diverse women in business and accomplished leaders from major global brands such as Aon, Accenture, Coca-Cola, Insight, Uber, MasterCard, WeTransfer, Procter & Gamble, Pfizer, United Nations, UPS, and many, many more. Ebere truly believes that leadership development is a tool that helps us embrace our full potential, which inspires others to embrace theirs. Now, doesn't that sound like legacy living? I met Ebere through a mutual friend, Ari. All of us are mutually passionate about entrepreneurship and leadership. Voila! Instant connection. Ebere's highest calling is her absolute joy in lifting up and building up women leaders. Today's topic is all about that, lifting up women's leadership, a topic that is very close to my heart, as you know. Now, I can't think of a better person, a better leader, a better human being to address this topic than Ebere Akadiri. When she said yes to being on my podcast, I just knew that she would speak soulfully and passionately about her life and her work. Why? Because that's who she is. She is simply on fire about God's call on her life. So I can't wait to host my friend and colleague, Ebere Akadiri. Now, before I bring Ebere in, I just want to take a minute to connect the dots between today's topic on lifting up leaders and legacy living. Now, there are many, many ways that lifting up leaders connects to legacy living. For now, let me just say that legacy living is a way of being and a way of living in the world. And you've heard me say this over and over again on this podcast. How you live is how you lead. Now, most importantly, legacy living and leadership is a way of serving so that we make the conscious choice to be the difference we want to see in the world. We make the conscious choice right here, right now, not in some distant future, right? We make that conscious choice day in and day out, 365, 24/7. Now, let me bring in my friend and colleague, Ebere Akadiri. I want to welcome you to my podcast. Ebere, if you could say your name for us, where you live, and how you started in this leadership world.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. My name is Ebere Akadiri, and I live in the Netherlands. I'm originally from Nigeria, And I started an organization called Rise and Lead Women. The way I started is when I came to the Netherlands in 2013. I moved with my family and my husband because my husband was transferred to work in the Netherlands. And before then, I had a business in Nigeria, a restaurant business that was growing very rapidly with 2 branches and 7 sales outlets. So when I had to leave it behind as a good wife and moved with my husband to the Netherlands. On arriving here, I was kind of lost, almost depressed, trying to find what else to do. I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do. And in that situation, I had some time to reflect, to even, re-examine myself, to know who I am and what my values are and, what difference I'm supposed to make on this earth. And it was at that point I kept hearing that voice, like, teach what you know already. And that was how I started, bringing women together to teach them a little bit about entrepreneurship. And then also looking for a network that supports ambitious women who want to build companies. I couldn't find one. So I decided to start up Rise and Lead Women as as an event to empower women to just take up, rise, like, raise their voices and start driving changes and start leading their businesses. And that's how Rise and Lead started. And now it's 3 years, and we are moving more towards leadership development for women to help them get a seat at the table, and also partnering with different corporate organizations to drive changes towards gender diversity and inclusion.
Okay, well, thank you. And the world needs your voice now more than ever, Ebere. So can you talk to us? We talk about leadership a lot in this world. At least the work that I do, we talk about leadership a lot. And many of us have our own definitions about leadership. And so I'm curious, what does leadership mean to you?
Well, thank you so much. That's a very beautiful question. As a matter of fact, I had a webinar recently talking about that topic. I see that when I speak to women in business, we talk about leadership a lot, and some people start thinking it's not for them. It all has to be when you get to a certain position at work. That's when you start talking about leadership. But then I started speaking to them about, for me, what leadership means. And what leadership means to me, it's about driving changes. It's about taking up, the mantle, taking up responsibilities, leading changes, using your voices to drive social changes. It's all about engaging, with people, sharing our vision of a better world and inspiring them to come with us on this journey. So that's, for me, that's what leadership means to me. And I believe that everybody can lead from where they are, and that people can also expand their capacity to lead. And when they do that, they are making space for other people to also start increasing their capacity to lead.
Yeah. All right. And I love how you talk about leadership, very globally, at work, for social change. And you also talk about leading from where you are. So can you say a little bit more about that? Because a lot of people are, just kind of scratch their head about that. What does that really mean?
So let's start with, even when we talk about the world's definition of leadership, it's about who is in front, who is taking up the lead, who is taking up the mantle or the responsibility to move everybody towards a common goal. So when you are, I use this example, like if you are in an office environment and then they want you to, they are looking for somebody to organize an event, for example, and nobody is raising their hands to do it, but you're gifted to do that. It's important for you to raise your hands, even though it's not part of your job description. And as soon as you raise your hands to do that, people will gather around you to support you. At that point, you are a leader. You are leading that initiative. And the more we take up such responsibilities, the more we grow our capacity to lead, the more we grow our leadership competencies, the more we become better leaders, and the more people start looking up to us, for solutions to problems. So that's how people live from where they are. You don't wait for somebody to appoint you or put you in that position of leadership. You know your gifts. You know what you can do. You can start influencing people through your gifts. And that's why it's important to develop yourself as a leader.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I love this notion of, starting from where you are, connected to your gifts and what you're passionate about. Everybody can do something, right? And so why not be the one to raise your hand and say, hey, I'll start that,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
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 And
Thank you.
sometimes it's because people don't know what they are good at.
Yes. Yeah. And that's probably a whole different conversation, right?
A whole different conversation. Yeah.
Yes. So, Ebere, can you talk a little bit about? I know that your organization, Rise and Lead, is focused on women and women's leadership. Why do women need to enhance their leadership competency?
Yeah. So when Rise and Lead started, and we were just focusing on female entrepreneurship, and then I remember my mentor, she said, Ebere, it's going to take 100 years to close the gender leadership gap. We can't focus only on entrepreneurs. We need to go into the workplaces and drive changes. So we started moving into diversity and inclusion space.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at today, the number of women at the top leadership positions is so low. From all the reports, from every report that you get, women are underrepresented in every part of the economy, in every institution. Meanwhile, there are so many reports that says that, I think it was McKinsey, in one of their leaning reports of 2019, they mentioned that women, get into the workforce, but as they start moving towards the leadership ladder, towards the executive position, they drop from 50% to 25%. Mm-hmm. And as they start moving towards the CEO level, they even go down to 7%. Why is that? Now, as a leadership strategist, what I can think of is the fact that when you are at the entry level in a workplace, you're leading, the way you're working, you're focusing a lot on tactics, all those tactical job descriptions that you're given, right? Mm-hmm. But when you start moving into the executive positions, you're expected to embrace strategies like big vision, driving a team. And then you're also expected to develop or to display such personal qualities that helps you to inspire people to move the organization forward. Mm-hmm. And for example, like negotiation skills, like people skills, even like stakeholder management or stakeholder relationship management, and the confidence level. You have to stand up and speak up and have a very strong opinion. And then there was another report by, I can't remember his name, but he wrote an article on Harvard Business Review saying that men seem to overthink themselves, their competency level. Mm-hmm. But women they found this report. I think I can find it. I think Chamaro Premusic. Yeah. He was saying that there's a disparity in confidence level between men and women, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
he said it's the confidence gap because men show up as confident, and because of that, everybody believes that they are competent. But women tend to be more humble, which is very good quality of a leader because it's related to emotional intelligence. But people or the leaders who are judging us to promote us, they don't see that as a great skill to make them promote you. So
Mm-hmm.
why am I
Mm-hmm.
saying all this background? What I'm trying to say is that my organization, Rise and Lead, we're on a mission to increase the representation of women in top leadership positions. And one of the ways we are going to achieve that is to help women understand, develop themselves as leaders, start developing those competencies that positions them to take up leadership roles so that they won't be passed over. While we also, advocate for organizations to look beyond those seemingly, competencies like confidence, they have to look beyond it and still promote women to build an equitable organization. But it's going to take a long time. So as women, we need to develop ourselves so that we can take up more leadership responsibilities, so we can raise our voices, so we can, get there, so we can close the gender leadership gap. We all
Mm-hmm.
have a role to play here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And, thank you for bringing in that McKinsey study. I know that women's leadership does tend to drop off. And one of the things that I have recognized with regard to confidence is that men tend to overestimate themselves. I mean,
Yes.
and that's not a judgment. It's
That's the
just,
report as well. That's one of the reports, from the
yeah,
Harvard
and
Business
and that's not a
Review.
judgment about men. It's just a fact. And women tend to underestimate themselves, so they are looking to have everything together before they seek that next step. And men are saying, "Bring it on!" I'll build my wings as I do
Yeah.
this, right? And so,
Yes.
what are some of the key steps, Ebere, that women can take to find their leadership voice?
Good. That's a very good question. And that's what our Rise to Leadership program, that's, what is based on. So for a woman to even start thinking about raising their leadership voice, why do they need to raise their leadership voice in the first place? Number one, if you don't speak up, if you don't use your voice, people are going to bypass you. They will not know your competencies or what you're capable of doing. And then that promotion, they will give it to the other man beside you who is like overrating his own competency. And for us to change that, women need to start by true self-awareness. For me, there are 5 steps women need to take first to build up themselves to be able to raise before they get ready
Mm-hmm.
to use their voice and also to start developing other skills and other competencies. Number one is self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
It's about knowing who you are. What do you bring to the table? What are your gifts? What are your talents? You know, what are your values? What do you have? What difference are you here to make at this time?
Mm-hmm.
And number two is about core values. Most times we tend to not know our core values.
Yes.
And our core values is going to help us take decisions regarding our careers. It's going to help us be sure that we're even working in the right environment, a place that will help us grow faster.
Mm-hmm.
And our core values, we're going to have like principles that will help us, you know, craft our vision. So the next one is the vision. What is our bold vision? You can't become a top CEO, if you don't start today to look into the future and see yourself becoming a CEO, you have to have that bold vision first. Like, this is who I want to be. And because with your core values, you also understand your leadership style, and also you start understanding owning your point of view. Like,
Yes.
this is what I believe in. This is, you're speaking up gradually, right? And then you have this vision of where you want to be, and you start working from the end backwards to make sure that you can turn that vision into reality. Breaking it into goals, into action steps. And at that point, you will see some gaps. Okay, I want to be the CEO. What steps do I need to take? What competencies do I need to possess? Who can I reach out to? So at that point, you want to find your support team. You have to reach out and find mentors, or make sure that you drive that change and make sure there's formal mentorship in your company. If there is none, you can find one for yourself. Get mentors, learn from them, ask them to introduce you, let them know your dreams, your desires. You see, you're beginning to speak up, so people already know what you're bringing to the table. You're telling them, this is what I want to do because of this. These are my values. I can do this. And as soon as you get there, then it's already the fifth step is that you now have a plan on your table, which is your personal growth plan. These are the things I want to be a CEO in 5 years. These are the courses I need to attend. These are the kind of mentors that I need. These are the things, the kind of jobs I need to take. These are the roles I need to occupy to help me get to that my desired destination. So at that point, you see, it comes up naturally for you to start speaking up in meetings, because you know what you want. You already have a vision of where you're going to. At that point, you start speaking up. People start recognizing you, noticing you, and then you start adding values. And it will be so easy at that point to give you some positions. You can no longer hide your voice.
Yes.
Because you now know the values you bring. You have a strong opinion about everything, and you are contributing on every table you find yourself. That's how it starts.
Well, thank you. And I love your 5 steps, and I just want to make sure that our listeners get them. So I'm going to repeat them, and I'm going to stop at 3 because I want to make sure that I got 4 and 5 right. Okay. So I got, for number 1, self-awareness. Number 2, your core values. Number 3, a bold vision. And what was number 4?
Turning that vision into reality. What do you need to do?
Okay, so breaking it down into your goals and action plans?
Yes.
Okay, so turning the vision into reality. And then number 5 is to have your own plan, your personal growth plan. Is that
exactly? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love this. A mutual friend connected us, Ari, from Ann Arbor, Michigan, from Zingerman's. And now, as I talk to you more, I really understand why. I mean, I could be saying the same things coming out of your, that are coming out of your mouth. So I just love it. Yeah. So you mentioned the word, you're welcome. Thank you. You mentioned the word empowerment earlier, Ebere. And I know that, sometimes we talk about empowerment, and particularly in the realm of women's leadership, sometimes we mean that, kind of as a stand-in for the word leadership, empowerment, leadership, one and the same, but not always. So I'm curious, what do you mean by empowerment?
Yeah. Okay. So, right now in 2021, we don't even use that word anymore of empowerment. But when we started, that's what we felt, that we're going to empower women to provide them with tools, with resources, with networks to really, stand up, speak up, and get a seat at the table. But I think what we should be focusing more on is, how are we providing those resources? Is it equitably shared? Are all women having the equal opportunity to access resources, networks? And that's one of the things about Rise and Lead Women. It's one of the most diverse network you will ever see in Europe. Okay, so it's so diverse because you see people from different nationalities, from different races. And so there's this, for us, it's about inclusion right now. It's about inclusion and providing a platform where women can actually empower themselves. So whatever empowerment means to that woman, if it is about, getting funding for their business, learning business skills, or learning how to grow their leadership capacity, that's what it is.
So whatever it is for that particular individual, it sounds like. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that you talk about, for 2021, empowerment is not what we need.
No.
So let's talk a little bit about leveraging our leadership voice. I love that you said that your mentor reminded you that it's going to take a long time to close the gender gap. I mean, that's, really that's transformational work. It's not just change, it's transformation. And so in the meantime, how do we leverage our leadership voice as women to ask for top leadership positions and to really take an active role in closing the gender gap?
So there are different ways we can do that. One is for ourselves. One is also for using that voice to speak for other women who are still trying to develop their own voices. So if you have the voice, like Michelle Obama said in one of her speeches, if you are on that table and you're not able to use your voice, you need to get out of that table. Let somebody else who has the voice sit there.
Yes.
Okay, that's what it is. So if you have that voice already, first advocate for yourself. If you know that you can fill up any role that can move you closer to the executive position, be bold and brave enough to ask for it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for any permission. You have a voice, use it, advocate for yourself. Let them know what you're bringing to the table. I believe so much that women, as women, it's good to be humble, but it's also good to use our voices. We need to have a strong opinion. We need to share our ideas. We can't be hiding behind anybody. Share our ideas. Let people know our point of view. That is very important. So when you start sharing ideas, you're saying something that matters, people are going to stop and listen. And so when there is any vacancy or position that requires somebody with such a strong voice, guess who they're going to call? It's you.
Yes.
And it's one step at a time. You move to this, you climb to this level, you continue looking for another level, depending on your core values, depending on what you want for your life. Of course, not everybody is going to be at that top leadership position. You're not going to force anybody because we have different values. Some people just love to support from the back. And then another way to use that voice is to start driving changes in your organization. Start using, not just for women, also for women of color. It's important that women who already have the voice can start asking, why don't we have women of color in our department? Does it mean they don't apply for these jobs? Why don't we have Black people in this company? Why don't we represent women from minority groups? What is the curiosity and the questioning that you start bringing changes to your organization? And then maybe you can also start mentoring other women, start encouraging and inspiring other women to rise and lead as well. Yeah, so that's the way to leverage your voice. Leverage it to drive changes.
Yes. Thank you. So I just want to just a quick summary of that because there's so much packed into that. You talked about advocating for yourself. You talked about stepping up and being bold to ask for those positions that you really want, that that are going to move you closer to that top leadership position. Don't wait and don't ask for permission. I love it. And
No.
then, being about driving change in your organization, mentoring, and in particular, reaching out to women of color. Because not only is this about a gender gap, it's also about a color. It's also about, I'm kind of in this space, the current language is BIPOC, right? And I just, that is a little bit just disturbing to me, because what we're talking about are, women are the majority in this world. On planet Earth, we are the majority, and peoples of color are also the majority. And so I actually think about this world that you're talking about as the global majority. Okay. And so when we start to reframe like how we think about ourselves, it actually kind of changes how we
how we see ourselves,
how we
right?
see ourselves and how we go about closing that gap. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So I just want to also ask you, I know you mentioned this a little bit at the top of our conversation, but could you say a little bit more about what inspired you to start Rise and Lead? I mean, I know that you transitioned from Nigeria to the Netherlands, but there's also, I'm guessing, Ebere, some core value that you have, or some experience or some story that you have in your life that really, that's like really the driver for you. And I could be making that up. So tell me.
Yeah, no, you're not making it up. Everything can be connected. There's always the dots connecting to your past. Okay. So my first job, when I was working in a corporate organization, I lost my job when I was 7 months pregnant. And I felt it was unfair. Okay. It was so unfair because I was working so hard, but now I'm pregnant, I couldn't deliver as I used to. Of course, they couldn't do it now, but then they could do it. And I left that job, went to start my own business, and even became a food vet, because I had a restaurant business that was employing 56 people. So I was pregnant, having babies and running this big company catering operations. And then these companies call me back to start managing their catering. So I was paid back, all the money I felt I lost. But then for me, it was like being pregnant is not a crime. You're not sick. It doesn't mean you can no longer deliver. Women are capable of much more. And so that has been at the back of my mind to help to inspire women that they can advocate and fight for themselves and fight for other women. And one of my core values is fairness and equity. I want everybody to have equal opportunity to get to maximize their potential in life without any form of bias, without any form of somebody stopping them from getting what they want. And so for me, my way of making sure that women have that equal opportunity is to use my voice to inspire them. So on my LinkedIn page, the only thing I do is inspiration, kind of inspire women that you don't need any permission. Just get up. Just, if you don't even need confidence to start, just start. You can be afraid, but just do it anyway.
Yes.
All of those things, we need to hear it. And when they see me, that I came from Nigeria, and within 7 years, I've built a massive organization in a foreign country, no, I don't speak the language, and then I'm still able to network with a lot of the locals. I believe that my life, like as a role model, is to inspire other women to do the same thing. And secondly, when I started, one of my strongest motivation is this belief that if I can't, if we can be the change we want to see, okay, we can be the change instead of complaining. So when I was looking for this, I was going around looking for network organizations that support women
Mm-hmm.
and women who have companies who are employing people. I couldn't find, especially in the international community. I felt, I can start it. I'm sure there are women out there who are also looking for this type of organization where they can, um, they don't want to, nobody's going to judge them for being ambitious. Okay. So
Yes.
that was really my driving force to even start. But
Mm-hmm.
then like I said, we have expanded from, that empowering women thing, like bring women together. We have recognized we can use our power and our voice to drive changes,
Yes.
diversity and inclusion, which is really, when I remember what happened to me several years ago, I want to
Mm.
change that.
Mm.
Women are capable. They're
Mm-hmm.
capable of doing anything, whether they are pregnant or they have babies, it doesn't matter. They
Mm-hmm.
can do it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I love that. And thank you for that story. There's usually a burning reason why we begin things. And so I really appreciate your candor and your openness and your vulnerability in sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you are an inspiration, Ebere, and I love that you are talking about be an inspiration, be the change, and use our power. We don't have to get power from any place else. We already have it. Okay. And you don't
Exactly.
have to be confident to start, right? You
No,
just start, you
no,
do it anyway.
do it. I mean, I say this all the time. You don't have to wait until you're confident. Just
Yes.
start.
Yes.
The more you start, the more you learn. You learn from your mistakes.
Yes.
And sometimes when I look back at some things I did several years ago, I'm like, oh my God, how did I do that? you know, because now I know better, right? So
Yes.
that, so just do it.
Just do
Most
it.
times, most times we feel people are going to judge us. We feel we want to kind of cross all the T's and the dots and the I's. That's the problem.
Yes.
We kind of judge ourselves. We hold ourselves back.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
when we let go of judging ourselves, we
Mm.
realize that nobody is even judging us. And even if they are judging us, and so what?
And so
That's the
what?
question. What is that? so,
Yes, yes. Well,
so yeah.
I love it. And I know that you have developed a platform for conferences and roundtables, and you also have a leadership program, Rise to Leadership. Can you say a little bit about that for us?
Yes, thank you. And I'm going to have you in our next Rise and Lead Summit. So, like I said, the Rise and Lead started as a summit where we brought established leaders from corporate organizations to kind of network with emerging leaders so we can learn from their experiences and their stories. So we have this roundtable discussion and we interview a lot of established leaders to kind of hear the backstory behind their rise. So based on my method of leadership development and also with all these top leaders I have been interviewing and who are also part of my community, the Inclusive Leaders Roundtable, which is where we bring corporate leaders together
Mm-hmm.
to co-create events with them, co-create programs with them that would drive gender diversity and inclusion in their workplaces. So I felt we also have to develop. I started developing this curriculum based on these 5 steps I shared with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is called Rise to Leadership Program. Is all about supporting women to elevate their career to top leadership. And so we are helping women to kind of find their leadership style, find their leadership voice, set, bold vision, understand who they are, their self, have create greater self-awareness about who they are, and then know the value they are bringing. And then we teach and also bring executives to mentor. We're bringing executive leaders from like from the MasterCard, from UPS, the vice presidents there, from Salesforce, and they're coming also alongside with me. And of course, I'm inviting you officially as well, so we can help to create transformation in our women, so that at the end of 9 weeks, they will suddenly see themselves speaking up, using their voices,
Yes.
trying to drive changes, because we've seen a lot of testimonials in our platform since we started. The kind of things people say, that because of you, I now have a voice. Because of you, I started this business. Because of you. So I felt we should kind of package it as a program to support women to rise to leadership. And that's what it is.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, congratulations. And is this a public program or is it private by invitation? If I wanted to join and I am a listener, how might I get in contact with you?
Okay, it's a paid program. And so we have, like, on our website, Rise and Lead, it's still on the Rise and Lead Summit.com/institute. So once you click on that, I'll send you the link as well. riseandleadsummit.com/institute. And so you see the sales page and see what you get. So we have 5 modules, and we also have 4 mentorship sections, executives, and we meet almost every week for 9 weeks for 1 hour to 1.5 hours. And so everything is on that website, and then people can register to join us and also be able to network with women leaders in Europe. Yeah.
Excellent. Yes. Yeah. That is so important, especially these days. We are a global village.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ebere, for your energy, for your focus, for your drive, your passion, and for your inspiration. Thank you for being a guest on my podcast, and we will get the word out about your work. And that's really what this is all about, passing it on, not just keeping things for ourselves, but passing it on.
That's it. We need to start amplifying those voices.
Yes.
That's what we do. And thank you, Gloria, for having me. I'm so happy to have met you through our mutual friend, Ari.
Yes.
I'll tell Ari about it. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you. Likewise. Likewise. So inspiring. Rock solid gold. Clearly, Ebere Akadiri is a leader's leader. She makes a difference in her own life and in the lives of so many others, in her own family and throughout the world, in her work as an entrepreneur and leadership strategist, in her work as a thought leader in leadership development and diversity and inclusion, and in her work as a wife, mom, sister, daughter, and community steward. Ebere shared so many pearls of wisdom with us today. You will want to listen to this podcast over and over to take them all in. Now, to learn more about Ebere's work, you can connect with her through her website. And her site is called Rise and Lead Women, riseandleadwomen.com. You can also connect with Ebere via LinkedIn and Instagram. You can just type in @ the symbol, that little @ symbol, Ebere Akadiri. And that's spelled EBERE AKADIRI. The @ symbol, Ebere Akadiri. If you are just joining us, I'm Dr. Gloria, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. If you want to make your life count, if you want to be the change you seek, be sure to listen to my show again and again. And be sure to tell somebody. You can find me right here on iTunes, Audible, Alexa, SoundCloud, iHeart, TuneIn, Spreaker.com, Talk Network Radio, and so many other places. Now, before I close for today, I want to give a shout out to all the women, men, and our young people all around the world. Because you know what? We are the ones. We are the ones we have been waiting for. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, don't wait. Don't wait for someone else to step up and make things happen for you. In other words, you can be the one. You can be the one to make things happen for yourself and for other people. In fact, can I just tell you something? You are the one. You are the one who can make a difference in your own life so that you can inspire others to make a difference in their lives. Now, if you happen to miss any part of this week's episode or last week's, you can simply download the recording and listen to it at your convenience. You can even listen on the go. Check us out at www.talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. That's talknetworkradio.com/hosts/legacy living. You can also find me and learn more about my work and Legacy Living Make Your Life Count by visiting my website. That's right, that's the Gloria Burgess website. Or visit me on LinkedIn or on Facebook. You can also check out one of my TED Talks at TED.com. Before I close today, I want to thank each of you for tuning in, for allowing me to share a bit about my journey with what legacy living is all about. Not just living and learning, but living and learning and serving so that you make a difference in your own life and in the lives of other people. It's all about being on purpose every single day, 365, 24/7. Legacy living is a powerful way to make your life count. Once again, thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess, and this is Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Please join me again next time right here, Talk Network Radio, for another episode of Legacy Living, Make Your Life Count. Now remember, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Have a fabulous day, and remember, make the days in your life count. God bless you. That's our show today. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria Burgess. I hope you'll join me again next time. Until then, don't just count the days in your life. Make the days in your life count. That's what legacy living is all about. Here's to you. Have a fantastic day, and be sure to make it a yes kind of day. Remember to celebrate the music of your life. Make the days in your life count.